I'm going to be very honest with you. Whether you like it or not, to an extent, we are all judgmental, whether we can admit it or not. And very often, it's these judgments that we worry about. It's only very natural for us to care what other people think of us. We are social animals, and depending on what people think of us depends on whether we are part of the community or not. We have a need to be accepted. It's how we used to survive. Unfortunately, our primal instincts no longer serve us in the way that they used to help us to survive. They haven't changed and they've not adapted to the modern day life that we have today. We are no longer in danger, but the fear of being judged and excluded is very real. But Rhiane, why do I care so much about what others think? Well, sometimes it can actually stem from your childhood. If you ever had a parent who wasn't really there, whether it was physically or emotionally, that can have a massive effect on your behaviors. The fear of being neglected by others becomes even more intense. And then you'll find that you often crave that connection in your friendships and other relationships, that you become very dependent on, that you become very attached to people. So when you have friends then that make fun of you or make you feel a little bit excluded, it can really hurt. And I say that with my own experience. But wanting to be thought of as a good person isn't a bad thing, and caring about what others think sometimes is needed. Sometimes we know that it's better to be considerate of others, especially in a public place, so we don't play music out loud, even if maybe we wanted to, and say, well, I don't care what other people think, because it's about having that respect towards each other. However, chasing for approval isn't healthy for you, and more often than not, it can bring you a lot of disappointment. We need to be comfortable in ourselves first before we seek the opinions of other people. Of course, what other people think is important to us. It affects our relationships, our work, but who is actually right in this judgment? It always comes down to moderation. Caring too much is a bad thing, caring too little is also a bad thing. So we need to find that middle section. Caring too much usually comes down though to perception and how you would actually define that. Some people could define caring too much as X behavior, while another person can say it's Y behavior. Now, neither of those people are wrong. So sometimes it can be justified, but other times it can be trying to compensate for the wrong things, what we are giving too much value to. In my previous video, I spoke to my teenage self about the things that I wish I knew that I know now. One of those things was that you're more capable of doing things and achieving things, so don't let anyone else tell you anything less. Hearing opinions can be constructive, but we need to learn when those constructive opinions become destructive opinions. Not everyone is going to have their best intentions for you, and that in itself is a skill to recognize, but we can do this with empathy. Your parents might have their best intentions for you, but maybe they aren't giving you the right advice that you need because they grew up in a different time where they were told that they had to go down this path and that was the only option. The guy on the internet who adores you but is angry that you rejected him, so he makes an anonymous account to dislike all your videos and leave crappy comments. Your boss who tells you that he was going to promote you when you've just handed in your notice. Little secret, he wasn't going to do that. He's only saying that now because obviously he didn't see that you were going to actually quit, and he feels bad, so he's trying to make you feel bad. So the lesson in this is that we don't need to give so much value to certain people just because of the relationship that we have with them, whether they are our parents or our boss, because sometimes they might be important relationships, but the opinions aren't always going to be the best for you. First, know who you are and what you're capable of. Then go listen to someone that you admire or someone that can see the potential in you. Don't listen to someone that would never do the thing that you say that you want to do. Listen to someone who sees you for who you are, what you aspire to be, believes in you, and also has the same values as you. However, sometimes it's not just about what someone says that holds us back, but what we think people have said about us. Hands up if you have not done something because you were worried that someone was watching and that you were going to mess up in front of them. Yeah, that's me too. Now, I used to perform in class assemblies, and I say class, I mean my whole year group, which is about, I think it was about 300 people. I could do busking in the middle of town. I could very easily get up on the stage and perform. However, that didn't stop me from getting stage fright in life. There is a term called the spotlight effect, and essentially it makes us feel like, you know, we're on stage, the spotlight is on us, and everything of our flaws or everything that we're doing can be seen by everyone. However, everyone feels like they have this spotlight effect. So really, who is actually holding the spotlight? Because we believe that anything that we do, there's always someone watching. And yeah, okay, maybe someone's people watching and they might happen to see you slip on the ice and giggle to themselves. But whilst we think everyone's watching us, no one is. No one cares. Everyone is so busy worrying about themselves that they, majority of the time, won't see you mess up. No one cares as much as we all believe. We all believe that everyone's going to care so much and that you're going to get ridiculed for the next 20 years for that one mess up. But reality is, never happens. And I can't stress enough that I genuinely can't remember a single moment where someone else messed up, and I can remember that. I can remember, however, how many times I messed up and how many times I've been embarrassed thinking that someone else saw me. But is there really the hundreds of people that are laughing at us as they are in our minds in real life? Absolutely not. Everyone is too busy worrying about their own problems than watching you, waiting for you to mess up. And please believe me when I say that no one is going to remember it as much as the years that you spend thinking about that embarrassing event. And in a way, we're just so focused on our own portrayal to make sure that we can actually fit in with others. What we need to remember is what can you control and what can you not? Because there's going to be elements of life, of things that you have complete control, and then there's others that are just way beyond it. Everyone is going to have an opinion. That's fact. We all have an opinion. Sometimes some people voice them, some people don't. But we don't have control over that. We don't have control of the opinion that someone makes of us, because it's entirely down to their own experiences and environment and the way that they think, that they will then formulate an opinion of you. Now, you could be the nicest person in the world, but someone could still think, I don't like her. And that's their opinion. That's fine. Is it true? I don't know. But the final opinion is not your responsibility, and you need to let this go. Now, I definitely tried a lot of the time to people please, and I always wanted people to think highly of me. I wanted to be nice to everyone, and I genuinely did want to be nice to everyone. I didn't just want to fake it. And I would find that people still didn't like me, or there was still something that kind of like put a little bit of a bridge between me and this person. That's fine. And I think now I'm slowly starting to grasp onto the fact that I can't always control that. That is way beyond my responsibility. As long as I'm a nice person and I don't try to hurt people intentionally, then it is what it is. You can only be responsible for your side of the relationship. When you have two people together, you are only part of your side. You cannot control the other person. You cannot change the other person. That is just down to them. And when you realize this, you then need to let that go. What someone else brings is their responsibility. And this isn't me just, brushing my hands off with all that. That's just something that I've had to learn, and if anything, it's given me a lot more positivity to take from it, because I don't feel so pressured as much as I did. Of course, like I said, you still do your bit. You still be the good person that you want to be. You don't just say, I'm just gonna be an asshole because so be it, I don't care. There is always going to be an element of caring, and that's a good thing. But are you giving too much care to something that is nothing you can do about? It's not about not caring, because could you imagine a world where people didn't care at all? Yikes. It's about reevaluating what actually matters and Does it matter as much as we thought it should? Emotions definitely add an extra booster layer to things in the moment. But if we can stay more aware of this, then life won't feel as restrictive or that we need to control ourselves under the social gaze of life. So go be you. Do the things that you love to do. And remember that not everyone has their best intentions for you, and not everyone's opinion matters. Remember what you can and can't control, and let go of the rest. So stop caring about the wrong things.